And we got a decent market that's actually up 50 points to 83.84. Let's bring in our next guest analyst, Mr. Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. I think he's in Chicago, unless he's gallivanting around somewhere. Maybe, yeah, here he is, Chicago. All right. Any thoughts post-mortem on what we had from the government today?
Well, it's certainly great to see some green on the screen, especially ahead of a long weekend. I think my concern was that we were going to see, something closer to 93 million acres, and going into it, and talking and working with clients, it's good to hope for the best, but you really got to plan for the worst. And glad to see that, the hope is paying off a little bit today, end of the long weekend. But I think really the acres number in corn, that really kind of shakes the trees a little bit, and I think certainly changes the narrative a little bit on what's been a dark and stormy cloud over the corn futures for some time. Maybe just got a little bit of reprieve here going into the spring planting season, where weather is going to be a big important factor. And if we were even at 91.5, 92 million acres, that wouldn't, I don't think would be enough to really change the conversation much. But at 90 million acres, I think that certainly gets some money moving around. So it'll be interesting to see if we get some follow through once we turn the calendar over into a new month and a new quarter next week.
If your producers call you up right now and they say, should I reward the rally? What do you say?
It's tough to say. Everybody's a little bit different. I think we can probably squeeze out a little bit more, but I would not be holding my breath for a significantly higher move from these prices.
All right, good answer. I agree with you there. All right, stay there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more livestock with Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. We'll be right back after this. Export sales number, very good export sales number actually here this morning. Let's get back to our guest analyst. That's going to be Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. Oliver, thanks for sticking around on the day before a holiday. Anything jump out at you there?
Well, it's nice to see cattle rebounding a little bit. We saw a big spike in volatility to start the week, which took the CME CVOL index for live cattle to the highest levels we've seen since December. And I think there were just a lot of snowballs thrown at the market following Friday's bearish cattle on feed report, including talks of avian flu maybe spreading. You had some spillover from the cattle on feed report. You've got end of the month, end of the quarter, and a long weekend. And I don't think any of those one things would have been enough to pressure the market on its own, but it was just a plethora of things thrown at it at once that I think really kind of piqued the panic. All in all, I don't think the fundamental backdrop has changed a whole heck of a lot, so I do think we can continue to rally out of here. 182 for that June contract is really kind of the upside target that we're looking at for some clients. We're hearing cash trading down in Texas at 186. That's softer than what we saw at the tail end of last week, but still, better than where the board's trading right now. So I think all in all, the early week panic, I think, is probably going to be short-lived, knock on wood.
How much do you think was that bird flu induced?
Again, I think any one thing thrown at the market on its own, I don't think would have sparked the panic that we saw on Tuesday. But it was everything. Who wants to be long the cattle market? Funds are long 60,000 contracts ahead of a long weekend when they're talking about avian flu spreading,
right.
The bearish cattle on feed report, et cetera, et cetera. Probably not too many people.
Bunch of straws on that camel's back. That's what that sounds like. All right. Thanks very much for that. Oliver Slope, he's with Blue Line Futures in Chicago. We're going to bring it back here one more time and hand it back.